friends, welcome back to another episode of Heart to Palate, and today's recipe is one of my favorite recipe. I used to always make this मटारच्या करंज्या किंवा ओल्या वाटाण्याच्या करंज्या. आणि त्याच्यासाठी आपण सुरू करतोय म्हणजे आवरण जे बाहेरचं असतं कोटिंग त्याच्यासाठी. So I'm taken about 2 cups of maida. You can do half and half maida and wheat flour too. I've taken 1 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of rava, which is suji, a cream of wheat. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of hot oil, मोहन जे म्हणतो ते. पण मैदा घेतल्यामुळे काय होतं की त्या करंज्या जास्त खुसखुशीत आणि बेसिकली जास्त कुरकुरीत राहतात. इन्स्टेड ऑफ नुसतं कणी घेतलं की कधी कधी त्या नरम पडतात. So that's the only reason. But for health reason, if you want to just make it, you can make it just with the kanik also. That's fine too, like wheat flour. And I'm just going to mix it. I'm going to make sure you coat every grain. But right now it's really hot, so I don't want to touch it immediately. But like so, you have to make sure it gets nice and coated, entire flour. And when you make a feast and you try to hold this flour, you have to make sure it can form a kind of, a laddu kind of consistency. So that's how you know the exact amount of mohan is correct for this, the amount of oil you've added. It's called mohan in Marathi. Basically it's a shortening that you're adding to the coating to make the dough. So I'm just going to knead this dough. You don't have to make it very tight or very loose either. And then we're going to leave it aside for about half an hour. In the meantime, we're going to make the saran for it, or the stuffing for our oल्या वाटाण्याच्या करंज्या. Just going to knead the dough. You have to just judge it how much water you have to add. You just have to go by your andaz. So you can see our dough is nicely kneaded now. I'm just going to leave it aside. I'm going to cover it with the saran wrap or plastic wrap, or cover it with any pan also, that's fine. And you can see the consistency, it's not too loose, like so. And I'm going to make our stuffing in the meantime. So for the stuffing, ओल्या वाटाण्याच्या करंज्यांसाठी, or घुगरा you could call, green peas wala. So for that I have started with tablespoon of oil. I'm adding about teaspoon of jeera to it, cumin seeds. Let it splutter, and then I'm going to add fresh green chillies, coriander, and the ginger paste. So this is like bharadleli अशी paste. It's not too fine. You want it like little bit दाताखाली आलेलं पाहिजे, थोडंसं तो तिखटपणा मजा येते खायला. And this could be your ideal snack for your haldi kunku also. Now the season is going on for Sankranti sati, so you could think about that as well. So I'm going to add now the jeera is spluttering. I'm going to add the paste that I made, green chilli, coriander and ginger. त्याची मी पेस्ट घालते. सो हे आपण पूजेच्या वगैरे पण करू शकतो स्नॅक म्हणून, कारण ह्याच्यात लसूण वगैरे नाही आहे. Ideal accompaniment. Guju's called as घुगरा with मटारच्या, पण त्यात ते लोक तूर वापरतात ह्याच्यामध्ये बेसिकली, तूर ना घुगरा. पण आपण हे ओल्या वाटाण्याच्या, म्हणजे हा सीझन बेसिकली थंडीमध्ये छान मटार आपल्याकडे मार्केटमध्ये मिळतात. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द डिशेस डेफिनेटली माय मॉम यूज टू मेक इट वेन वी वर ग्रोइंग अप. आणि मटार पॅटीज दॅट आय हॅड ऑलरेडी शेअर्ड लास्ट इयर द रेसिपी फॉर दॅट. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of haldi to it. हे छान परतून घ्यायचं 1-2-3 मिनिटं. And then I'm going to add the peas to this. And I've taken petite size peas, छोटेवाले जे असतात ना, कारण त्याने चव छान येते. Because I don't want it to be mushed completely, so I'm just going to mash it with the ladle over here. कारण पूर्ण मी ह्याच्यातून वाटून घेतले नाही येते मिक्सरमधून थोडेसे. काही लोक तसं करतात, बट इट्स अप टू यू. आय लाईक इट थोडंसं दाताखाली आलेलं ना, छान वाटतं त्याचं टेक्स्चर. इफ यू वॉन्ट, यू कॅन ऑलवेज ॲड कॅश्यू पीसेस ऑल्सो. दॅट विल गिव्ह यू अ नाईस क्रंच टू द स्टफिंग. At this point I'm going to add about 2.5 cup full of peas, green peas I'm adding. adding about teaspoon and a half of salt and about teaspoon of sugar to this. Just saute this for a couple of minutes and I'm going to cover the pan. I'm not going to add any water to this. Just in case you find it's sticking to the pan, you can always add maybe a tablespoon and a half or 2 tablespoons of water. And I'm going to cover this pan for about 5 to 6 minutes. The peas should be cooked because these are really petite peas. They don't take too long to cook. Now it's been exactly 5 to 6 minutes that I had covered the pan, and you can see the peas are cooked already. I'm adding about just quarter cup full of freshly grated coconut to this, and I'm going to just squeeze a lime, maybe 2 teaspoons of lime juice, I would say, in terms of teaspoons if you want to calculate. So now stuffing is done, and it's that quick and easy, and we had already kneaded our dough. So I'm just going to cool this down, and then we're going to start making the karanjis now, which is gujiya you could call, or gugras, and I'll show you the next step. So I kneaded this dough, and I'm going to divide this into 4 balls. Or maybe 5. I'm going to make large rotis, and then I'm going to use this katori to make the equal size, circles of it, and then we're going to stuff them. So I've made about 5 साधारण लिंबाहून मोठा गोळा असेल, साधारण टेनिस बॉलहून थोडा छोटा. टेबल टेनिस नाही, I'm talking about regular tennis. So एवढे 5 गोळे झालेत, and I'm going to make big roti out of it now. I'm not going to use any atta or any flour to roll these rotis, and I'm just going to roll it as thick as your regular rotis that you make. So I've rolled the roti now. I'm just going to make 4 equal size puris, small puris you could call. Like so. And I'm just going to keep them under the wet towel for now until I'm stuffing first one, like so. So they are going to go underneath the wet towel for now until I make the stuffing. छोटी वाटली तर थोडंसं लाटा कधी कधी तर मैद्यामुळे it might come a little closer, so you just have to roll it a bit. Just try to pinch them at the end like so. हे आपण असं pinch करून घ्यायचं आणि seal all the edges because you don't want this karanji to open up in the oil when you add, and just pinch it आणि अशी मुरड घालायची त्याला. Just make the design if you want. So first karanji is ready. आपण मुरड घालून केली. The next one I'm going to show you with the fork. I'm just going to close these edges now. पण छान घट्ट भरलेली पाहिजे करंजी. As I said, खुळखुळे होता कामा नये त्याचे. End to end छान स्टफिंग त्याच्यात आलं पाहिजे. And just झाल्यानंतर you can use your fork and seal the edges. This is an easier way if you want to go. पटापट जर व्हायचे असतील तर हे परफेक्ट आहे, कारण मुरड घालायला कधी कधी वेळ लागतो. सो दिस कड बी द इझियर वे. आय एम नॉट युझिंग दिस काथणी, कारण की मग अजून छोटी होणार आपली करंजी. सो आय जस्ट लीव इट दिस वे. इट्स ऑल सील्ड नाइसली and make sure you cover under the wet towel. And likewise I'm going to make the rest of the karanjis and I'm going to show you the frying step now. So these are 12 of them which I'm going to start frying now. So my oil is already heating up. You can see I just threw a ball of dough and it's already popping up. So I'm just going to start frying them. Medium to low flame I'm going to do. एका वेळी 3 जातील साधारण, 3 or 4. And make sure the flame is not on the high. So I'm going to fry the rest of the karanjis. With this measurement you would make about 30 of them, 30 to 36, because this is just 1/3 portion of the dough that I used. So you're going to have about 36 nice medium size karanjis, and you can enjoy with garma garam chaha. You can make this as your item for your haldi kunku this year. Sankranticha haldi kunku wala chhan asa ek item hoऊ शकतो. So enjoy. So our season special ओल्या वाटाण्याच्या करंजा or मटार करंजा is ready to be served just the way my I used to make it. I also tried baking them in my air fryer this time, few of them at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. I turned them once, 2 minutes on each side, and they came out perfectly fine. So if you're health conscious, that is also a good option. I'm going to share the recipe for the ओल्या वाटाण्याच्या करंजा in my description box below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Heart to Palate.